here with Addison, and I'm here with
Ella Burton. Today we're here to answer our focus questions that we made with our Socratic circles, using our 3 primary sources and the books we chose.
Okay, we're both reading books by Susan Collins. I read The Ballad of the Songbird and the Snakes, and Ella read
Catching Fire.
Okay, we're going to tell you a little bit about Susan Collins. She has written multiple New York Times best-selling books, and her books have been published in over 53 different languages around the world.
Okay, Addison, who's your favorite character from your book?
From my book, I would have to say my favorite character is Cornelius Snow's cousin Tigress, just because of how supportive she is and how much of a family person she is. And she is so kind-hearted, and she's literally just the best cousin you could wish for. Ella, who's your favorite character in Catching Fire?
Throughout the book, I started thinking it was going to be Katniss because she's the main character. And normally when the main character is the main character, you sway towards their point of view and, their personal, life because you hear about their opinions all day. So, of course, you're going to sway towards their side, what they want more. But as I read through the book, I kind of started to like Finnick more because Finnick is not throughout the whole entire book, but he's starting at the end when they go into the second Hunger Games for the Quarter Quell. And I liked him because he could fight for everyone while still being still having his ego, because ego can be a bad thing, but at the same time it shows that he has confidence. And he also fights for the people that he loves. And finding out about Maggie and the girl from his hometown that he still liked shows that he did care about people when everybody thought he was just a big ego guy. And it shows that even some of the biggest people out there can have good sides. So I liked him.
Alright.
Okay, Addison, your focus question that your Socratic circle came up was... Anyway. Okay, Addison, your focus question that your Socratic circle came up with was how do 4 social divisions create rebellion?
Okay, so for our question, I'm going to start with the actual social divisions themselves. And the most prominent social divisions that were seen in my book were the social divisions between the capital and the districts, because the capital is the majority of the capital people are living this frivolous lifestyle that the district people couldn't even imagine. And these capital people, yes, they have jobs, and yes, they still have their day-to-day task, and they still have things they have to do, but their life is it's very it's very wealthy, and it's a rich lifestyle, and it's not a bad lifestyle. And then the district people, they have to go to work every day. They're literally struggling to put food on the table for their family. If they miss a day of work, then that is a day that they will have to go home to their family without food on the table or without enough money for a new coat or new shoes or anything like that. And then if you look closer into that, there's divisions among the capital citizens, just the way they see each other between the old money and the new money, and the social status in the capital. And then even between each and every district, there's social division. So between District 1 and District 12, they view each other as completely opposite. And they really dislike each other because of those forced divisions.
And not to mention the people in the capital don't even have to participate in the games.
In the Hunger Games. So yeah, the people in the capital, they do not have to in my book, there were mentors. But other than that, they did not have to participate in the Hunger Games, which was a big deal. And the Hunger Games were there to remind the districts of the social divisions that were put in place, to remind them that the capital is saying, oh, you are not equal to us. Oh, we're better than you. Oh, you're not allowed to revolt against us. And so, that created revolution. And they did this because of a whole war on revolution. So, I'm going to start. One of my first primary source is Montesquieu. and no, never mind. This is Rousseau's. This is Rousseau's social contract, and he says that there has to be a social contract for government to work. There has to be one general will, one whole body of people, one community. And he says, this is a direct quote from him. He says, each of us gives in common his person for all his force under the supreme direction of the general will, and we receive each member as an indivisible part of the whole. So it's saying that whenever you join this community or this group or the government, whenever you are becoming a part of this social contract, you are giving up some of your rights, but you become a part of this community and as a whole, and that you're getting new things for giving up your rights. And then he also says that for the social contract to work and to not be absurd or tyrannical or just a dictatorship, that people have to be able to choose if they want to be a part of that social contract or part of that government. And the people in the Ballad of the Songbird and the Snakes had no choice at all in where they fit into government. They're just stuck wherever they are, and they have to make the best of where they are with what they have, and that's all they get. And then I'm going to go a little bit further into the social divisions, how that causes rebellion. And to do that, I'm going to read part of The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. He says the difference between the most dissimilar characteristics between a philosopher and a common street porter, for example, seems to arise not so much from nature as from habit, custom, and education. When they came into the world, and for the first 6 or 8 years of their existence, they were perhaps very much alike, and neither their parents nor playfellows could perceive any remarkable difference. So the reason why this causes revolution is because if you boil down what he just said, all people are the same in nature. Like, essentially, people are just out here working for themselves, working for their families, trying to do the best that they can. And these people are revolting because they are forced to do what they don't want to do. They are giving laws that are corrupt and unjust and that don't fit majority as a whole. And the whole reason they're revolting is because they're separating people when there's no need for them to be separated, because all people are essentially the same and they're all equal, and there's no difference in status just because of where you're born.
And I think a lot of it in your book is like, and mine, is that it's not even the fact that they didn't join that social contract. It's they weren't given the choice to join a social contract and get that help from people. Yeah. But also, even if they did have that choice, like, because they were relying on the government for help, because not everybody can do the same job and work all the jobs, like, they also have military pushing down on the people, and even if they wanted to go somewhere else and not be a part of that government, they couldn't if they chose to.
Exactly.
Not even to participate in the government or like revolt against the government, but just to leave. Like, they didn't have that choice either.
That's the problem in my book. They abuse their power as a government, and it is forced, and these people have nowhere to go, no other options except to be a controlled citizen. And if you take a look at Green Day's American Idiot, he says that, well, the band says that they don't want to be an American idiot. They don't want to be a nation under new media, and that they're not meant to follow. And so basically what that means is that they're not going to just sit there and follow around what the media says and the news just because everyone else is, or just because everyone else says they should. Like, they're gonna do what they need to do because they have to be individuals, and as people, we're not supposed to just follow blindly. Like, we're supposed to decide what's best for us, and we're supposed to be able to do that. And that's the problem in our books, because the government abuses that option. They take it away. So.
And even like some of the people in your book, like what is the girl's name that
Lucy Gray.
Lucy Gray. One of your essential questions was how are individual viewpoints towards leaders influenced by social division. She had views about the leaders, like she hated the people in the Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some people in some districts, as like in my book we have favored groups like District 1, District 2, they have more money.
Mm-hmm.
And they can put food on the table, but they still live that working lifestyle. But it's not as bad as some of the districts. Some of them are better than others. But I know that, like, if I grew up in a district that wasn't as bad, I wouldn't view the government with such hatred.
Mm-hmm.
But I know where she came from. She viewed the government with hatred because that's how she was raised. Like, she was taught up.
Mm-hmm.
Her people taught her that the government was bad and they told her what the government did to them and, like, was telling them,
Mm-hmm.
like some parents might keep their children in the dark about what's going on, but, like, she was informed. She knew what was going on with the government, and she knew she didn't like it, and she spoke up about it.
Yeah, I agree. For that, like, you have to be given your information, and you have to be able to digest that, and you have to know what's going on around you.
I felt like she was very aware.
Yeah, she was. And I admire her boldness to speak out against the Capitol and all that. And then I'm going to kind of, like, switch topics a little bit, but it's still relevant to my focus question. I'm going to talk about the overuse and abuse of the Capitol's power source. It's like kind of the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But they separated people into districts based on, these districts are separated based on the jobs that the Capitol needs them to do for the country as a whole to survive. And these people have no choice in which district they're born, and they don't even get to travel between districts. And so this is just like, I think it's crazy for us to kind of understand the concept just because of how much, like, choice we're given in everything we do. But yeah, there has to be a limit on a government's power for that government to be successful and for that government to thrive. And Montesquieu says this in the Spirit of the Laws.